Hey guys, it's been a bit. How are you? How's life? Hope you're doing well. Can you believe that we're already almost through? We're to April of 2024. That's crazy. So, few announcements I got to get out of the way before we get into today's video. First one is I'm going to be doing a contest, and I'm debating if I should do this in a live stream or if I want to do this as like a pre-recorded, and then you guys just go to a website to enter in. And basically, I'm going to be giving away a copy of a pretty cool game that I don't use. That I have. I still it's a Steam, and I have to keep in mind this is for Steam and it's for PC or Steam Deck. So keep that in mind. But you guys make sure you tell me in the comments below which one you would prefer. If you want to see me do a live stream, I haven't done a live stream in over a year and a half, or actually no, yeah, it's been probably more than like 2 years. So that's the first big announcement. The second big announcement, I'm actually going to be starting a gaming channel to go along with the same media company that I own. And that, it's going to be coming in the next couple months. I've been thinking long and hard about it and debating if I wanted to do it. And to be honest with you, it feels right to do. So yeah, in the next couple of months, I will be launching my gaming channel, but I'm just got to reassure you, I'm still going to be mainly focusing on this channel. The gaming channel is just like a way to, have fun, interact with you guys. I might even do games like where I invite you guys to come play with me on like my PS, online via PS5 or whatnot. So look for that. And then the third announcement is this. There's something that I've been secretly brewing in the background. Killdeer, my best friend Aaron, he knows about this. We've talked about this. My mom, who you guys saw that video of, which by the way, you guys killed it with that. The views on her video. You guys are awesome. I'm so grateful for you for welcoming her into this community. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll make sure I put a little iCard somewhere up there. Excuse me. And so there's something I've been brewing that I've been really kind of thinking about a lot the past while. Now, this is going to be a long ways off before you guys even see anything of this, but I'm going to be doing a video that involves the state of where I live, which is Utah. Now, if you know anything about Utah, there's some really cool places in Utah that a lot of people like to come visit from all over the world. There's southern Utah, there's the mountains, there's Park City, there's so many cool things. There's Temple Square, there's so many cool and fascinating parts to Utah, and so many big time celebrities and other athletes and just people in general come from all over the world just to visit these different cool areas of Utah. So, and then the fourth announcement is that me and Killdeer, we're going to be bringing back, as I mentioned before, we're going to be bringing back Chasing Light this spring and summer. You guys really were receptive on the first episode, but we're going to be doing things a little different. We're still in the process of like planning it all out, but Chasing Light is coming back. So look forward to all four of those announcements. And so let's get into today's topic. I've had requests to do a part 2 of something. You guys probably know what it is, and that is reacting to some of V from BTS's photography. Now, again, you guys knocked that video out of the water. Like, I was not expecting how many people loved my reaction to it. I was kind of honestly shocked, to be honest with you. And so without further ado, we're going to do part 2. So here we go. All right. So as you can see, this is V's Instagram page. Now, I wanted to bring up a few things right here. And the first one I wanted to bring up is this, because, guys, really quickly, if you know me, I love to celebrate with people. I love to celebrate people's successes, their accomplishments. And this right here, and let me bring this back up. this right here, this to me is very humbling. This is really cool. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very impressed with this. So, this is him with all his friends. They're having fun. They're celebrating. This is really cool. And this was taken back in 2022. So this is like over 2 years old. But it's just the fact that he's having fun with this, and that with photography, you gotta have fun, and especially if you're being a photographer, if you can have your friends involved, it's even better. And then you can see that this is just all of them having fun. They're just out. They look like they're pretty cold. I guess it's pretty cold there at that time of the year. You can tell that these guys, they're basically like brothers for life. And to me, you can see how close they are to this. And so just the mere fact that they were able to that V was able to capture this stuff on camera so he could cherish these memories and so his friends could cherish the memories. That's something that really impacts me, because I have photos, really quickly, I have photos of family, of friends, and just of people who I care about who are either no longer with me, who have, either passed away from health problems, or who I just don't talk to anymore. And so having those memories to look back on, yeah, they're great to have them up here, but they're even better to have them where you can just go back and say, hey, yeah, I remember that. I've had a tendency sometimes to go back and look at some of these memories. Now, again, I don't dwell in the past, but let's go back to it. All right, so now this is a really cool shot. I really like this shot because if you know me, if you haven't seen part 2, I'll make sure there's an iCard somewhere up there. Black and white photos, if they're done correctly, are my favorite kind of photos to do, because it kind of makes it look like they're antique or like they're from they're old school. But this is really cool because V, he's not really in the center of it, but you can still see that he's the focal point. You have the curtain, he's leaning up against a balcony railing, and I love the fact that there's so much detail with, you can see the wood tiling right here, you can see the detail in the curtain, and you can even see the detail in the building right behind him, which is really cool. This is a really cool photo. Now, there are a few things that I would have probably done a little different. It looks a little, what's the word I'm looking for? It looks like it has a little bit, it's a little bit blurry. There we go. It's a little bit blurry, especially but at the same time, he's having fun. And so that's all that counts, right? Okay, whoa, okay. That's really cool. I like this because you can see the detail in his coat. You can see the detail in the railing. Again, you can see the detail in the patio tile, wood tiles, and again, you can see the detail in the curtain. You can see that he's just having fun. He's experimenting, and as a photographer, look, guys, you got to experiment. Now, obviously, keep it moral, keep it clean, but you got to experiment. You got to have fun with your photography. That's just really cool. And again, you can see the detail of the building behind him. This is really cool. I like the shadow, the railing that the shadow gives. I like the shadow of the railing right here as well, which is really cool. If I can get my words out. All right, going on. Let's see here. Now, I have to keep in mind, guys, some of these I probably won't be showing. If it's this is an Instagram reel, I don't want to get any copyright claims, so you guys can go back and check that out if you want. It's right there. It's on his Instagram page. But I wanted to bring up this one right here because this is really cool. This is what I like to call a golden hour. It's a little past golden hour. If you don't know what golden hour is, I'd highly recommend that you go and Google it. I know, Google it. But golden hour can be a really cool way to get some amazing shots as a photographer. And you can see that he's posing, and obviously if I was V right here, and if I was looking for my my future wife, I would probably use this as an online dating profile picture right there, just because it shows V as he is. He's positive, he's creative, and it shows him in a good light. And I mean, it's just really cool. I love the clouds and the texture of the clouds. I love the color texture right there, which is really cool. And I love the fact that like the lighting from this building behind me isn't overwhelming. You know, as a photographer, I've seen people's photos where either the light from like a building was too overwhelming, or there was too much of a shadow like on their face, or there's so many different things I've watched, and I've seen people pay money for these from professional photographers, and I've been shocked. I'm like, I would have never paid for that photo. Like, I would have gone back to the photographer and said, hey, I want to reshoot. Like, this is not okay. So, but going on, let's see what else you. Good old V being a fun guy that he is, just having fun. See, this is what I'm talking about. When it comes to black and white photos, if they're done correctly, they can turn out really well. Now, with that in mind, I've done some black and white photography with people's photos, and it didn't turn out very good. So keep that in mind when you're doing your photography, especially if you're using black and white filters, even if it's in the editing process. Make sure it works, because otherwise it just looks tacky. And again, he's just having fun, but that's part of being who you are. You got to have fun with who you are. And, you know, obviously this was the behind the scenes of a photo shoot that he did, which is, you know, him just having fun. And this puts off some Michael Jackson vibes, you know, because he had this jacket right here looks like the jacket that Michael Jackson would wear in like Thriller. And then, you know, this guy has like the Michael Jackson hat. And he kind of looks like Michael Jackson right there. I'm not going to lie. V looks like Michael Jackson right there. So that's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I like the lighting and the aesthetic of the lighting. You know, it's really kind of showing down on him. But if I was to take this shot, I would have made sure that they both were underneath the light, because I feel like he's a little darker than he is. But again, he's the main star of this, right? And see, guys, you guys know I'm a sucker for dogs. Dogs are my favorite animal. You guys saw my mom's video that she did a little while ago, where we showed the dog that we have. Well, it's her dog, but he believes that we are both owned by him. But dogs to me have a special place in my heart. So I like this. I like the fact that, you know, you can see that V's big into animals, which is really cool. You know, animals are so amazing. I love animals so much. All right, so going on, this one, okay, this is really cool because V has a tendency, I've noticed, with his Instagram photos, he has a tendency to kind of look out. I call it the majestic shot, where you just kind of look out. But, you know, there's a lot I like about this. You know, the fact that you can still see that he's pretty well lit up. He's not too terribly dark. You can still see some detail in his jacket. I like that you can see the detail in the scenery behind him. And I like the gray clouds that are behind him. You know, that creates a great background. You know, as a photographer, I cannot tell you how many times people are like, oh, would this be a good background? And I'm just like, we can take it. Like, you know, you're the customer. Like, you're the paying customer. Like, I'm not going to tell you no. And some of the backgrounds were just bad. They were really bad. If you guys want me to do a part, I have a part 1 of horror stories from a photographer. So make sure you go check that out. If you want a part 2, make sure you tell me in the comments below, because I do have some more horror stories that I can tell you guys. But that's really cool. But okay. Again, this is really cool. I'm not going to really criticize it, because he's very talented in photography. The guy is very talented in photography. But there is something that I don't like about this, and I'm sure you guys have already figured out. It's how he's blurry. You know, sometimes motion blur in photography can work out pretty well. I've seen it happen. It's really, but you have to time it just right, because honestly, if you don't time it just right, it looks bad. Now, I'm not saying this looks bad, but what I don't like about it is the fact that, like, you can basically see his whole figure, except his head is and his shoulder are very blurry. You know, it's probably from his chest up that are kind of blurry. But other than that, it's a great photo. Now, if I was to take this shot, I would have cropped this out right here because that just seems like an eyesore to me. But okay, see, this is a good shot. Like, you know, V's having fun. He's just like, okay, let's go take some. I want to take a shot of me with the clouds. You know, he's having fun with this. Like, you know, V is a very talented guy, as we all know. Is there anything that him or his bandmates can't do? I mean, seriously, I've asked this question multiple times, but that's a really cool shot. I like the clouds. I like the fact that he stands out in the gray clouds and that you can still see some of the city life behind it. And again, apparently he probably wanted to make sure that he got a pretty good angle shot. This would, to me, like, this is probably going to carbon date me a little. This reminds me of a MySpace profile picture. Like, this is something that I would see back in the early 2000, back in like the 2007 to 2008 MySpace profile pics when people were like, "Yeah, this is me." I know I just carbon dated myself, but well, that's what that reminds me of. But it's still a good shot. Okay, I like this shot a lot. I like the aesthetic of the building behind him, and same with the lighting. But again, there's something I don't like, and I'm sure you guys have already figured it out. It's the fact that his head is blurry. You know, I understand that, like, you're trying to be creative, but look, guys, as a photographer, like, I would be ashamed if this was a photo session and someone paid me a ton of money for the photo session and it was blurry. I would, number one, probably get bad feedback from them. Number two, I'd probably have to do a reshoot. And number three, I'd probably feel like I needed to give them some of the money back. So keep that in mind when you're taking portrait photography, that you got to make sure, especially like if you have kids that are just moving around, moving their hands. We all know those kind of kids. Most kids from the ages from like 3 to 9. They're very energetic. They can't stay still. Try to get them to, ask their parents if they can try to help keep them a little contained, or bring some kind of props or something that'll help keep them calm and help them to stop moving, is what I'm trying to say. So, but that's a cool shot still. Oh my gosh, now V is just goofing around. The guy's just goofing around. He's having fun. He's acting like he's going to eat the Eiffel Tower statue. But it's still a good shot because, he's poking in from the side. And I like the green aesthetic of the green painting. And I like the fact that it's on a brown table. That's really cool. And, okay. that would be him having fun. Oh my goodness, V. And again, here we go. Black and white. This is how a photo should be. If you do it rightly, rightly is not a word. If you do it right, this is how it could turn out. You can see that he's having fun, but you can also see that the outline of him as a person, but you can still see like the clouds in the background. You can still see everything around. You can even distinguish, his feet from his pants. So again, if done correctly, this can be a successful way to do black and white photography. Again, same thing. You can see the detail in his pants. You can see that you can distinguish where his feet are and where the cuff of his pant leg is. It's really a well done photo. I like this photo a lot. It kind of reminds me of an album photo. And of course, he's got to get the bird video. Birds are funny. I have to say, the birds are funny. I've watched plenty of birds fight over food in parking lots, and it can be pretty hysterical, to be honest with you. All right, so we're going to do this one right here. So I want to know, tell me in the comments below what you guys like most about this photo right here. What I like is the color scheme. You can see that he's color coordinated it good enough so that he knows that he will stand out, but it's not overbearing. I've had clients who either wore like really bright clothes, or they didn't know what kind of clothes to wear. There have been times when I actually had a photo session with some acquaintances where they had just fed their little boy dinner and they didn't even take time to clean his face up, and so he still had like, spaghetti spaghetti stain all over his face. And that was when I was a novice noob. But as the photographer, if you're taking some photos for people, make sure you tell them, like, color coordinate with your family members. Don't wear overbearing stuff, and make sure. I always tell people to make sure they wear modest clothing. I don't want to have a come to Jesus talk with my church leaders for an inappropriate or lewd photo, and I've had experiences like that before. And again, if you guys want me to tell some of these awkward experiences, make sure you tell me in the comments below, and I'll do a part 2 of that, horrors from a photographer's point of view. But yeah, I like this. That's a pretty cool jacket, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know if I don't know if I would be caught wearing that out in public. People would probably make a mockery of me, but it's still a pretty cool jacket. It's very colorful. But I like the fact that he's leaning up against, it's either a gray or a white wall, or like a light gray wall. He stands out very well. And the really cool thing about this is that you can see that he's reminiscing in the moment. He's focused on the moment. And I've had clients where either they just didn't really care, or they got sick of taking photos. And I just there was one, oh my gosh, I have so many bad stories. But yeah, I've had moments where people just didn't really, you could tell that they were done with photos. Like they didn't want to take any more photos. So, and there were times when I had to basically tell people, like, hey, you got to look like you care about each other. So, that's an interesting shot that V decided to post. I guess it's just of some of the stuff that he was modeling with. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some cool parts to this, but the one thing I don't like is how blurry it is. I don't like that, you can still see that it's V that is taking a self-portrait of like the jacket and maybe the necklace and the lapel pin that he has right there. But beyond that, and that's cool. And I know I'm probably being a little harsh, but like, if this was a photography class, if I was to take this to a professor at the local university, they would probably dock me points on this, because they say you weren't paying attention and the photo is blurry. So, it's still a cool shot though. Really a cool shot. All right, we'll go through a few more. And if you guys want a part 3, let me know, because I'm more than happy to do a part 3. He has, as you can tell, V has a lot of photos. Now, this is one that I want to talk about because, again, this is a very well done black and white photo. The color schemes were good. Whoever took the photo, they knew what color suit to have him wear. Same with the tie. And this is a very well done photograph. It's by Time. This is a Time magazine photo, and that's really cool. And it doesn't surprise me that Time did this, because the photographers who work for Time magazine are really talented at what they do. But there's a lot that I like about this. I like the silhouette of that would be his, it's either, that's probably his right side. Yeah, that's his right side. But I like the fact that, like, you can still see all the detail. Like, he's wearing a suit. You can even see the detail of the buttons on his suit jacket, the dimple in his tie, the detail in his hair, and you can even see the detail in the ring right here, which is really cool. And these are kind of the kind of photos that, like, a lot of professionals seek after, especially like those of you who know what it is, LinkedIn. This would be a great LinkedIn shot. These kind of shots would be perfect for a LinkedIn headshot. And if you guys want me to do a series on that, I can. I'm trying to make my channel a little entertaining. I try to make it entertaining, not just a little entertaining. I try to make it completely entertaining. But I also try to make it informative and educational. So it's like edutainment. So, but if you guys want me to do that, make sure you tell me in the comments below. But this is a really cool shot. Like, you know, I like the fact that you can see the lapel right there. You can see you can see the detail in the suit, you can see the dimple, the detail in his hair. You can even see the little light. You can see the light in his eyes. You can even see the detail in his ear. Like, this is a very well done photograph. Like, I am very impressed with this because, as I've said repeatedly in this video, if done correctly, this is what a good black and white photo can look like. You know, but it has to be done in a precise and correct way, if that makes sense. All right, going on. We'll react to a few more and then we'll call it. All right, so again, you guys know me. You know I love sunset shots. Now, this is probably taken from his smartphone, which there's nothing wrong with taking sunset photos from your smartphone. I got to throw that out there right now. But one thing I do like about this is the color scheme. And I like the fact that, you know, you have the reddish, orange, and then it just kind of goes all the way up to blue. Sunsets, to me, there's so many meanings to sunsets. You know, it's the close or the ending of one day, but it's also the opportunity to get excited for the next day. You know, I told you guys about how I want to bring that 1% more light to the internet. This is one way that an individual can do that, showing these great, amazing sunset shots. And I love the fact that, like, you can even see the reflection in the water of the sunset, and that you can see that it really goes perfect with the silhouetted mountains. And man, there's a lot I like about this, and I could go into more in depth, but for time's sake, I won't. But just know, like, this is a really cool shot. Like, I'm pretty impressed. Like, if I had posted this on Instagram a long time ago, I probably would have gotten a ton of likes on it. All right. And then we will do this one because, again, I am a big fan of, excuse me, allergies. I'm not a big fan of allergies. I'm a big fan of black and white photography because I feel like black and white photography, if done correctly, can show the details and can bring some more wholesomeness to a photograph. You know, I have so many photos that I've seen that were black and white that were done correctly, like this, for example. And this is really cool. Like, I'm really impressed with this. You know, there's a lot about this I really like, and the fact that, like, it was by GQ. Okay, see, that's a cool transition. I like the fact that it goes from a black and white to a color photo. Now, there's a lot I like about this. Obviously, you know, I'm a big suit kind of guy. Like, I like to wear suits, and that's a nice suit. You know, I like the fact that, you know, they wanted to make sure that he looked, you know, businesslike, and that he still had his quirkiness about him. So that's why they threw in the different colored sunglasses, which that's really cool. And I like the fact that, you know, the tie just goes really well with the suit. But there's something I really like the most about this, and that is the lighting right here, which is really cool because you can tell that there was a light that was probably like right there. And just the fact that, like, you can see that the ambience of it, and that there's that, you can even see the warmth of it a little, but it's not overwhelming. You know, there have been times when I've taken photographs for people. Like, I tried to take some photographs for a friend at his wedding reception. It was like right in the heart, during the heart of COVID. Well, now, yeah, it was in the heart of COVID, but it was when the vaccine started rolling out. And I took this photo of him and his bride, and I went back through later on. I was like, man, I'm excited to edit that photo. And because the way that the lighting was and how I had my camera settings, it was not salvageable. And I was very sorely disappointed. So keep that in mind as a photographer, you know, especially if people ask you to take some indoor photography, make sure your settings are right on cue and that the lighting is where it needs to be. That's really cool though. And see, this is another cool shot. Like, you know, he's having fun. You know, he's obviously, this is a professional photo shoot, and you got to look professional in these. But I like the fact that he really stands out right here, whether it be the fact that he's wearing this jacket or the fact that there's a sunset. That's either a sunset or a sunrise behind him. But there's a lot I like about this. I love the fact that you can still see the detail of the trees behind him. And I like the fact that you can see the detail all the way up into his hair, his face, the jacket. This is a really well done shot. Like, I'm impressed. You know, whoever at GQ decided to take this shot, I'm very well impressed with how they did that. Like, because these kind of shots are not easy, especially because you're probably having to crouch down a little just to get that kind of a shot. So that was cool. But honestly, guys, that was really cool. If you guys want a part 3, make sure you tell me in the comments below, because honestly, this is fun. I enjoy this a lot. And on that note, I will see you in the next video.